Once upon a time, in a quiet coastal city called Marindale, life moved gently between the sound of waves and the laughter of children in the narrow streets. The people were simple, kind, and always ready to help one another, but like every place on earth, their peace was always just one step away from chaos. What no one knew was that a man who walked among them every day would one day become their silent savior. His name was Elias Reed. He was a maintenance worker for the city council. His job was to check the old drainage systems and fix broken pipelines. People hardly noticed him. He wore the same faded blue uniform every day, carried a rusted toolbox, and worked from dawn to dusk. He never complained, even though most ignored him. Yet, Elias was different. He had a quiet intelligence, a curiosity that made him study everything about the city's underground systems, the sewers, the tunnels, and the hidden routes built over a century ago. Years passed, and the city grew taller and busier, but no one paid attention to the decaying pipes beneath it. Elias did. He saw signs of danger cracks that grew wider after every storm and pressure in the pipelines that could explode any day. He reported it many times, but the officials brushed him off. They said the city had no funds to repair what no one could see. So Elias kept working silently, repairing what he could, saving money to buy his own materials. Then one summer night, nature struck back. The skies turned black and thunder rolled over the sea. A massive storm broke over Marindale. Lightning crashed and rain poured endlessly. Within hours, water levels began to rise. The drainage system could not handle the pressure. The old pipes burst, sending floods through the lower streets. People panicked. Families rushed to rooftops while cars floated away. The power lines went down and darkness swallowed the city. But Elias was not afraid. He knew exactly what was happening and where the main floodgate was buried beneath the old marketplace. It was built long ago to protect the city from high tides, but forgotten over time. If he could open it, the water would flow back toward the ocean and save the city from drowning. Without waiting for help, he grabbed his toolbox and ran through the storm. Wind tore at his clothes and debris flew around him. The streets were rivers now, but he waded through chest-deep water, guided only by the faint glow of his flashlight. When he reached the marketplace, the ground had already begun to collapse. He climbed down into the underground passage, his boots sinking into the mud. The air was suffocating, and the roar of water was deafening. He found the floodgate rusted shut with decades of neglect. He used his wrench and strength to force it open, but the handle broke. The water pressure was too high. Still, Elias refused to give up. He tied a chain from his toolbox around the valve, attached it to a metal beam, and used his whole body weight to pull. The sound of the gate cracking open echoed like thunder. Then, with one final push, it gave way. A torrent of water rushed out like a beast freed from its cage, pouring back toward the sea. Hours later, when the storm finally ended, the floodwater began to drain from the streets. People emerged from their homes trembling and soaked, but alive. They saw the sky clearing and sunlight breaking through the clouds. They didn't know who had saved them. They only knew that somehow the flood had stopped. 2 days later, rescuers found Elias unconscious near the floodgate. His hands were torn, his clothes shredded by debris, but he was alive. He woke up in the hospital to see the mayor standing beside him. The city finally realized what he had done. They called him a hero, but Elias only smiled and said, "I just did my job." Marindale rebuilt its broken streets, and this time they listened to his warnings. They repaired the drainage systems and built a monument in the marketplace where the old floodgate once stood. It had no grand statue, no golden plaques, only a simple stone that read, "To the man who kept his city breathing." Years later, children still played near that monument, not knowing the full story of the man who had saved them. And Elias Reed. Now an old man would sometimes walk past it, quietly smiling. He never wanted fame or recognition. All he ever wanted was to protect the place he called home. In the end, he was not a soldier or a politician. He was just a worker with a heart brave enough to fight the storm and a mind wise enough to see what others ignored. He was the unsung hero who saved a city and asked for nothing in return.